Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs. From the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game.
The dog we really started with this line of dogs anyway.
Yeah.
Was my cousin Tim Rhodes' Tig dog. His name was Tig.
Okay.
That dog was above and beyond most Redbones I'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, he's actually I was like, wow, that's a good dog.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that hunted with us back then actually kept a log of that dog.
Okay.
For a whole kill season. And Tig went 99 trees straight where we shot a coon.
Wow.
Saw a coon. There's the coon. We saw it.
Yeah. That's impressive just from a standpoint of,
and
you're going to treat dens, you would think.
We saw 99 coons straight with that dog. And that was clear until, here in the mountains, it's not like fields or.
Oh, no.
They had to go hunting. And for him to have a coon that consistent was another oh my, that's a dog there.
It's impressive, that's for sure.
And the night we were going, we're like, man, we're going for 100 tonight, And we had a couple people there too, because we're like, can't believe it. It was like, I think 6 degrees.
Oh, geez.
In February. It was towards the end of kill season.
Yeah.
It took that long to, and he treated den. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah.
Of course, the 100th tree.
Yep. And then it was like 6 more trees after that. He had a coon. That's for like the rest of kill season. But they were getting pretty. You get a dog that kills 100 coon, your spots are hurting the next year around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
I was, like I just told you, I was just down in Ohio, and we kill every coon we see out there.
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you're never going to hurt the population just the way.
Seems like it. No, they're just.
They always come back.
Right.
And my buddy out there, he's like, why don't you kill more coon? I'm like, because I like to continue to hunt the spots that I hunt.
Right. Yep. Yeah, even now, actually training, always got a young dog along. And I really haven't even hunted the old dogs. Old dogs, I'm saying like the 3-year-olds much.
Yeah.
5. Even with kill season in, I shoot the first coon that night.
Yep.
Skin it. Keep that hide with me the rest of the night. And when they tree, I toss the hide.
There you go.
And the dogs don't care. They've been trained on a hide from they were little, know, and it just keeps going through. And actually in the summertime, I can carry a hide with me on a young dog, and they still think they're getting every coon they tree.
That's a good idea. I never really thought about that, carrying
That's what
a
I
hide
do.
with you.
Yeah, I carry a froze one in the summer. And, if I got a pup, they tree, they get the fur, and they don't seem to even care that it's not the coon. It's just a frozen hide.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good idea. I never thought about that.
Keep all your tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still going to get a track, and they got to go hunt, and they got to work that out. But if they have it, it just makes it easier training a dog when you can give that correction and reward.
Yep. Which is the hardest part about training, running young dogs in the off season, is
especially here where the coons are thin.
Yeah, you don't have that reward.
You do if you have a frozen hide and they're on it. That's why.
Yep.
It helps me with, my competition dogs too. I mean, they think they're getting a coon every time, except when we go to a hunt.
Yeah.
I wish I could carry a frozen hide on a hunt, but I can't. So.
Well, before we get too far into this, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Wade Kuhns.
That's not Coons.
No, that's a dog down. Yeah, Kuhns. Yep.
There is a dog named, well, unfortunately he just passed away, but there was a dog named Wade Kuhns.
Yeah, black and tan. Yep. Yep. Old Wade Kuhns was. I was worried about when he named that dog Wade Kuhns. I thought, watch him be a dud. But luckily he turned out pretty good.
He
but
did.
Died early. So, but yeah.
But while the black and tan's named after you, you're a Redbone man.
Right. Yeah. 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 And the funny thing about it being a Redbone guy, the biggest hunt I ever did really good in was Autumn Oaks. Was with an English dog 2 years ago, so, named Hawk.
Okay.
But, yeah. But yeah. I mean, I know. I'm not colorblind. A good dog's a good dog to me. I don't care if I'm impressed with a black and tan or an English or a Walker. If they're a good one, they're a good one.
Oh yeah, I agree. You know.
Yep.
A good dog's a good dog, but at the same time, sometimes it's not necessarily what you want to have in your kennel every day.
Right. Right. You're right. Yeah. You like to see, to me, I like to see a good Redbone, but but I appreciate any good coon dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've done some winning, and that's actually kind of one of the reasons. You know, I don't live that far from you, and I was actually looking at the TOC list. Like I said, I went to Ohio. I was kind of trying to find somebody maybe close to there that had a dog that some notable dogs, and then I saw that you have 2 qualified for TOC. I'm like, well, heck, I'm going to drive right through here.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad you stopped.
So you've obviously done some winning, and with your line of dogs. So. What's the secret? Because as we discussed outside, there's not that many good Redbones.
They're few and far between, but I mean, just Redbones in general are few and far between.
Yeah.
The upper, I mean, the northern part of the United States, I'd say, has more Redbones, number wise. So, with the numbers, you actually have more good ones.
Yeah.
There's getting to be pockets of good ones down south too.
Okay.
A couple buddies are, Texas has some, Louisiana, Mississippi, but up here the hide hunters made the dogs years ago.
Yeah.
And Redbones were always good for having a coon. A lot of competition guys like those walkers in English, but hide hunters would have Redbones.
Okay.
So, a lot of times that's the way it went. I like hide hunting myself.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Anymore, it's more just a game. Like I was telling you outside there, when I have I'll tree one, skin it, and use it the rest of the night to throw to the dogs. And then I'll keep that hide for the summer, for next year or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like traveling. I like traveling. Get with a couple guys and hey, come on up and let's shoot some coons. Okay, no problem. It's fun. It's a good time.
It is.
Yep.
So what stands out about your line of dogs that have made them do so well in the competition? Because like you said, there's not a lot of really good Redbones. So
I don't know. I've tried to. They've always been pretty fast on the ground. Things I struggled with was getting dogs that open quick.
Okay.
So I kind of concentrated on going around hunting with people that had, which mostly is Ohio. I went with John Biggart's dogs, fast strike dogs. I was impressed with that, and the thing about his is they actually pass it on.
Okay.
So he's had a special deal out there, and an aftershock dog, and a dog named T. T was out of shock.
Okay.
And T throws. It's kind of neat how you see it work. T would actually throw a strike dog like shock.
Okay.
So it's kind of, the pups would come out like shock more than T. And that's what I noticed anyway.
Yeah.
But then I had Kong, who was out of T, the Grand Night, and Kong's pups don't quite strike as fast as T, but they're faster than Kong.
Okay.
So, but they're good.
I've heard that before.
It seems to skip.
Sometimes some traits skip generations, and grandpups resemble grandparents more than they do parents.
I've noticed it a lot, and when you start having grandparents and parents that are the same, now you're getting to where, that's why I was saying I never really line bred, because I didn't want to ingrain what I wasn't looking for.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting what I want, and there's generation or two behind it back in that same trait.
So now you're getting to the point where you want to
I
concentrate.
think I kind of want to try it just to see.
Yeah.
I mean, might turn out like nothing, but I mean, I'll try it. Now I'm ready to try it a little more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what drew you to Redbones? Because you said you've hunted a little bit of everything.
I used to hunt walkers more than anything, and now that's close 30 years ago. But a dog named Tig,
Okay,
I told you a little bit about, was my cousin's dog, and that dog there was a hide dog in hide season. You know, like when we were shooting coons, that dog was. Right now, that same dog would be $12,000 dog, easy, and he was a competition dog too.
Okay.
He's just solid all around. He treed, you could walk past him, shoot coon, and come back to him.
Nice.
You know, and that's one of the things. A lot of dogs, I don't care what kind they are, you're not going to do that.
No.
You know,
start shooting coon out there.
Yeah,
like, let's go for it.
They're coming. You didn't have to tie him.
Yeah.
You could walk by him, and we tried all kind of stuff with him. He was just solid. And as far as breeding, he only ever had 18 puppies.
Okay.
He had 3 title out of 2 different females.
Yeah.
So the litter that had the 2 that titled were both females.
Okay.
That started me. I actually had grand nights out of both of those females.
Okay.
And the one female was a little quirky, like some Redbones are. She didn't want to hunt with strange dogs as much.
Yeah.
She's a heck of a coon dog, but you put a pup with her, she might shut down, stand around. The other one, no way. All she wanted to do was get going, so I used her to continue on with, even though I got good dogs out of both of those females.
Yeah.
One was a night champion named Jane. The other was a grand night named Daisy. Even though they were both good, Daisy was better in my opinion.
Yeah.
On account of no quirks.
Yep.
She'd tear the pen apart to get out if you were working a young dog in the yard. You know, like her whole mission was to get a coon.
Yeah. And
it showed in her competition hunting too. She made night champion, I think, 15 months.
Now
this is back in the day, you know.
Now, was that when were those your first 2 Redbones you got after Tig?
Well, they were still my cousin's dogs.
Okay.
Tim owned Tig, and he owned Daisy.
Gotcha.
His brother, Ted, had Jane.
Gotcha.
So it's still kind of like a family thing, but I'm still like, man, they're good ones, but I wasn't set in yet, completely in, you know, pretty much, but not completely. With Redbones. And then I got a dog named Big Red. And Big Red was what we needed. He's real similar to Tig.
Gotcha.
Bred pretty good, bred all right, but he was locked down tree dog. You know, and no feelings. Like you could come to my house, never even go out and meet the dog. Dark, go get him. He's gonna treat you coon.
Yeah.
Just like he would for me. And that was the other thing that started me to getting better dogs with less goofiness. And don't get me wrong, there's still pups come out that are weak in those departments every now and then, but it's getting less and less.
I hunt leopards and cur dogs. Yeah. I'm well aware of quirks.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same, you know. I'm just trying to breed it out. I guess some guys are like, well, why don't you just hunt a walker then? Well, because I want to have a Redbone like that.
Yeah.
I still want to keep this. I wouldn't say brains because walkers, there's some good walkers.
Yeah. They've gotten better.
Yeah.
There was a stretch where they were
getting
I'll offend some walker guys,
right.
But there was a stretch of time where there was a lot of stupid walkers.
Yeah, they got real, but see, those guys they knew what they need to win, and it's tree.
Yep.
If you're gonna win, that dog can't shut down. I can't finish this track. I mean, let's just be real. In summertime, I don't want my dog, even though it's kind of a fault, I'd rather it get treed than come back to me when I'm in a hunt. And if it gets treed, 9 times out of 10, I can circle it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's any better. I'm just saying if I want to win, I need that circle more than I need the coon right there.
Yeah. And if it comes back to you, now it's minus on your track points.
There you go. So the walker sitting out there treed, my Redbone comes in, I'm screwed. Neither of them have a coon, but I'm screwed.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of like
the catch-22.
Right. Your dog did okay. You're gonna walk to a slick tree, but in a competition hunt, he saved his hind end. Yours lost its hind end right there.
Yep.
So that's the difference in. I mean, a lot of walker guys don't care if they walk to 5 trees as long as one of them got a coon.
Yeah.
In a hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then there's other guys that they're gonna thump their dog for being slick all the time. But,
Oh yeah, and I mean, I think it, like we've said, it's gotten better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even just in the last 10 years that I've kind of followed the competition hunts, it seems like you used to have a lot of slick train walkers, and now you got a lot of walkers that more often than not have a coon.
Right. I've definitely noticed a lot less trash running in the walkers and more coon treeing. I mean, they're actually doing. I mean, there's some good walkers out there. I am not saying that, not one bit. If something's going to beat me, it's usually a walker. If I beat something, it's probably a walker. So I mean, it's like that's what you're hunting against. You got to hunt against them guys. So, but yeah, I've been beaten by a lot of walkers.
How do they stand up against black and tans?
Same thing. Yeah, it's like I've been beat by them. I've beat them. I mean, I feel like just so I'm getting my share. Every now and then, if I can get a win here and there, you're doing all right. Of course, you don't want to be losing all the time, but if I'm losing all the time, that one's down the road.
Yeah.
You know, I probably won't even sell it. So.
Hope I understand.
Yep.
I was really hoping you were going to be like, no, I beat them black and tans every time.
No, heck no. Can't beat everybody all the time. Never happens.
Andy listens to this. That's why I was hoping you'd say that. just to get him riled up.
I'm pretty sure Andy's beaten me before. I mean, I probably beat him, but he's beaten me. You know, he's got some good dogs. Yes, sir. Now there's some the black and tans have really come a long ways too.
Yeah. I've now granted, being friends with you and Andy on Facebook, obviously I see a lot of dogs in the state that are black and tan and Redbones, but it seems like Pennsylvania's kind of a nice little honey hole for some off-colored dogs.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that black and tan sectional. Where's that at?
The one up in New York, or
what was that?
Great northern end.
Yeah,
Springville has it.
I think so.
Yeah,
and it seems like they have a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, I noticed they usually that hunt's a good one too. I mean, as far as their numbers.
Yeah, like I said, it's just for off-colored dogs. We seem to be a little hotbed for them at least.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's probably Redbones are pretty hot in Pennsylvania. You have like Scott Perky, Fred Moran's always, everybody knows Fred Moran's got a Redbone.
Yep.
There's Kelly Hyde, Crasses.
Okay.
There's a bunch of. It's hard keeping like that longevity.
Yeah.
But Pennsylvania's got Redbones with longevity. I mean, it's keeps going.
That's good.
So, I'd say there's probably not. You always hear these guys down south and stuff. Oh, I've never seen a Redbone tree of coon. Well, I'm pretty sure everybody in Pennsylvania has seen one tree of coon. Maybe not the best all the time, but I'm pretty sure they've seen
Redbone on a coon. I mean,
yeah.
We don't have many show up anymore. When I first started, when I joined the Coon Owners Club that I'm a member of, we had a guy that would come every now and again. And I mean, it was packed coon dogs. Most of the time they were night champion at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah, they're coming. It's when one thing I try to do is be objective.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at my dog if hard, if not harder than I'm looking at yours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care what yours is doing.
Well,
I'm worried about what mine's doing.
Like you said, you're chasing a dog to hunt a certain way, and in order to get it to do that, you need to be able to be objective and actually be honest with yourself, which I think that's a lot of people's.
Yeah, I'm not going to get hung up on old red, like old red. I don't want to have to talk about the same dog for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. Here's the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned to be a little leery if someone's always talking about old red or something, and that's the only good one he's ever really had or enough to talk about.
Yeah.
That longevity's probably not there.
Yeah.
And, I would really like to put one somewhere good one of these days. Like maybe it'd be nice to consistently hit the world hunt. There is no Redbone line that's constantly in the top 20.
Yeah.
None. There is no Redbone. And I don't know. I'd like to do that, but, maybe it's a stretch.
Well, do you compete if you get qualified? Do you go every year?
No. Actually, there's always something going on. I
Like,
know. It's
we
my
just
problem.
talked about the tournament champions. You've qualified for the last 3 years and you haven't went yet.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So.
I did go one time with another dog. A buddy of mine, Josh Barrick, had a Grace female.
Okay.
And I hunted her for a few weeks leading up to that. And I had her ready to go. Didn't that thing come in heat the first night out there? And she was 2 months early.
Jeez.
I was like, oh, my. I got out there, and she was cranking.
Yeah.
She was doing really good. Got out there, and she was off. And one male was chasing her. Of course, I'm
thinking that male's.
I was like, yeah, you better get rid of him, I'm getting kind of mad, It's like, man, he's bugging her. He's all at the tree. He was humping her. I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? And, of course, I'm defending the dog.
Yeah.
The dog I'm hunting, mine. And I'm like, man, it's not her. She can't be in heat. So, the next morning I come out to feed her. And then she dripping. I thought, man, I feel bad. I felt bad because it ruined, my hunt and the other guy's dog. I'm sure he wasn't there because he's,
But unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, but it's nothing I could do about it. She shouldn't have been in heat, but she was. But yeah, I've had my own qualify, I think 3 years straight now, and I haven't went with one of them.
Now, is that part of why you've shifted more towards males, or?
I've always liked males.
Okay, because I just noticed you had your little male heavy.
Yeah, I have a lot of male dogs. Yeah, I just like the idea of never having to worry about going out there. You need the females to keep going.
Yeah.
Good females, but even that's really hard to find the good ones too.
Yeah.
But usually if I keep one, it's pretty decent.
Gotcha.
I feel like I can take her and win with her.
Yeah.
So.
Good deal.
Yeah. Trying to make a little statement, I guess, sometime here.
Yeah. Like I said, I know you win pretty consistently locally. That's the different couple coon clubs around I follow on Facebook,
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for you to be in the winner's circle at them.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, lately, though, sometimes the competition hasn't been real heavy in the last year.
Gotcha.
All the clubs I've been to have been everybody's hurting right now a little bit.
Yeah.
Couple of the bigger ones, like Blairsville has a pretty good hunt.
Yep.
Went out there this year.
Did you go out there for
Mount Music?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were out there to see those guys again. But yeah, there's it seems like once the spring's kind of over with.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest of the year's pretty. 5-6 dogs at a hunt.
Yeah, we had a doubleheader about a month ago, and we had 5 dogs in each.
Yeah, that's about the way it goes. Yeah. Well, some of the sectionals maybe get 12, 13.
Yeah.
But our hunts, we have kind of a bigger one in the spring there, or I guess it's June, where we have we barbecued. It's like a hunter appreciation type hunt for our members and stuff, and anybody wants to come. And we do like the fireman chicken, barbecue chicken on the big racks. We do that, and that hunt's usually the last good one we have where we turn out, a good bit of dogs. I think we even had 27 one.
Wow.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Which is pretty good for
that you guys? That was like the COVID year, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we just hanging tough. We were hanging tough
because there was nothing going on, so everybody came out to it.
Yeah. Then we were like, oh man, what are we gonna do now? We gotta get these dogs guided, and I wasn't really expecting that, but
everybody shut everything down.
Yeah, so. We held in there.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that was wild.
So
put us on the spot there.
Was your hunt last night at your local club?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, we did good, but the old dogs did betray a coon. There's nobody there.
Gotcha.
It was like, I think we hunted 4 dogs the first. I think 4 dogs both times, I think.
Okay.
So, nothing to brag about.
Yeah.
But
hey, if they're doing their job, I mean, unfortunately.
they got to go tree a coon still, so, but they did, and we're good.
There you go.
Yeah, nothing real impressive there. So
tell me a little more about your Redbones. Like, how do they hunt style-wise? I know you're saying you want them to hunt like a walker, but what's the same? What's different? What
I'm looking for the good ones. They're I don't really want a super independent dog.
Okay.
They are independent, but like if I took you hunting tonight, more than likely the two dogs I take would be together.
Gotcha.
I mean, unless there's a coon real handy there, they might split.
Yeah.
But if I take those same two dogs and split them up at a hunt,
yeah,
a lot of times they're going to be treeing their own coon, but will tree with another dog.
Okay. So,
and that's kind of how I want them. I don't want to. I talked to you a little bit about compromise.
Yeah.
In Ohio, say, or Michigan, they're going to want a dog that gets first tree every time.
Yeah.
Because they got them. They can have 4 dogs in a 50-yard circle and they all have a coon.
We had a tree the other night. I had 5 coon in one tree, so.
Yeah. But it's like, here, oh yeah, it's great to have an independent dog out there when you're hunting these big hunts, and the dogs that go yonder, get hooked, tree till you get there. But if I'm gonna tree coon consistently here in Pennsylvania in the mountains, if they don't have nothing, they better get to that dog and at least check to see if it is a coon that it's barking at.
Yeah.
And if it is, get with them and tree it.
Yeah. A little bit of something is better than nothing.
Right. And that's what
coon.
That's what happens. And I think a lot of Midwest guys get a little bit, oh, that dog's a Me Too dog. Well, that Me Too dog's gonna get you.
Yeah.
And hunt. If you bring a dog from the Midwest here, they're gonna run out there 200 yards and say, "Where's the coon?"
Exactly.
We've done it so many times.
I know some people that have bought dogs and brought them in.
And that's what they do every time.
And they don't look like the same dog.
No. I mean, out there.
I'm not saying they're not good, but it's just, it's
me
different.
Either. But they're looking for that, zip around that 10-acre patch and find that coon sitting on the edge. It jumps right up.
Yep.
Here, well, talking about Andy Dent, me and him laugh. We get out there, guy at, Indiana. Hey, we're turning into a big patch. Going to turn you into a big woods. And I can see 3 sides of the woods from where I'm standing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh boy. Well, like we and Andy were saying there the one day, I said, I could go to, if I was a squirrel, I could get the whole way to your house, which is 60 miles away, and never touch the ground on a tree,
Yep.
So it's a lot different. The dog's got to go here.
Yep.
And, that's the other thing I try to be objective with breeding is out there, they don't have to breed for that go.
Yep.
They breed for a tree.
Yep.
And so I kind of got to end strike. Mm-hmm. They have to, I kind of compromise sometimes here with what I do because I know I want to go out there and win.
Yep.
But you got to have that kind of dog. But that dog can't do as good here.
Exactly. It's hard to be able to compete in multiple places.
Right.
Because it takes a different style dog.
Yeah. And, I mean, if you compromise the right way, you're going to be competitive here or there.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't, it's almost like you can't go completely for what's out there.
Yep.
And bring it here and still win.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like we were talking big game dogs, a lot of big game dogs don't have that hunt. And that's kind of where a couple of my dogs are at, is they don't have a lot of hunt. They'll run a track and they'll tree, but they don't have that go find it. Because big game dogs are bred most of the time to run off a bait, rig, or, they're getting walked, across a track.
Right. I mean, you've both done it. I mean, there's all different ways. Going down the road, they all blow up in the truck. That's a hot one. Cut them loose. Or we call it the walker. Send a walker down over the ridge with the 2 strike dogs, which walk with him, or just fan out a little bit.
Yep.
Till he walks them across the track.
Yeah.
Now the difference in the big game dogs, where like a lot of dogs, the coon dogs won't work, is the big game guys got to have a dog that will not quit.
Exactly.
A lot of coon dogs are like, I'm not going to do this forever. I'm going to go get treed somewhere,
Yep.
you know? So they got to compromise a little. Those guys are usually coming to a coon dog to get bred sometimes, but they're looking for a certain type of coon dog too.
Yep.
You know, if they're going to try that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they're definitely. It's just as different as Midwest and here.
Yep.
For coon dogs, you gotta.
It no matter what, people you kind of think a hound is a hound, but it's not.
No.
You know, where you hunt, what you hunt varies a lot, changes a lot.
Right. And talking about the bear hunters, I've had luckily some of the guys that got bear dogs or pups from me, or big game guys. And I always told them, you know, when they were getting them, like, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, I think they'll stay in there because I have dogs I put on not coyotes, bobcats.
Okay.
And that's an all day affair.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I mean, them things can go.
Yep.
And and mine won't come off. They'll stay on it until, you know, I pull them off.
Mm-hmm.
And the bear guys have done real good with some of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of calls about them. They're saying, you know, the big red dogs, the ones out of Big Red,
mm-hmm.
and the ones out of Kong seem to be the ones that make the best stick in there and stay on a track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
for big game.
Yep. Now, did you sell most of them north or south? Just curious. Not that it really matters.
There's like, it seems like Virginia area. There's a bunch in that area. There's like 3 different guys. There's a guy down in North Carolina. He was like, hey, I've tried about all of them. This one works.
Yeah.
So, there's a guy out of Michigan, Tory Wood. He came the whole way in here to get what he was hoping to make a coyote dog, and that's the first I've ever. I was like, man, I don't know if you want. I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, you're welcome to come, but
it's a long way to drive for
I was thinking,
to try and make a coyote dog out of something that's been bred to be a coon dog.
Right. Guess what? It worked.
That's great.
And I thought, good grief, I can't believe that. But he's liking them.
Yeah.
They're doing pretty good for him.
Got some versatility then.
A little bit. It seems to. I guess. I mean, it depends on who's training them too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it has.
I'm sure it does. But at the same point, sometimes, you know, if dogs don't, like you said, don't have that stick, they're not going to stick. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Who's training it. So.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, as far as my Redbones, I'm doing, I like that stick too. I can't stand a dog that comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that when they're young, if I had to make them go back in there,
mm-hmm.
you know, I'll do it. But I'm not going to keep doing it.
Gotcha.
You know, if they're not wanting to tree a coon as bad as I do, they're probably not going to be here too long. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future, but I'm hoping it keeps going. It seems to. I've tried X-bred crosses. Talked a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. So what's your reasoning for doing that?
Looking for more, I would say there's hardly any Redbones anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There's even fewer good ones. But if you can put a little extra in there, I mean, a couple generations down the road, it's got to build more genetic.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't just say get down the road, oh, there's a walker, I'm going to throw that one in there. It's got to be a walker that definitely produces, and it's producing what I like.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but I'd never just throw in just any old dog. It's going to have to be.
You're looking for something very specific when you've done it.
Yes. To try and, like I used a bushwhacker dog. I had a pup here. There's actually a buddy of mine bred the female to bushwhacker.
Okay.
And I had the pup, the X-bred pup.
Yeah.
And she did pretty good too. I mean, the Nighthawk dog, Ohio Warhawk.
Yeah. English dog, right?
Yeah. That was one of the fastest hunting dogs I've ever turned loose. I ex-bred him on a Redbone.
Okay.
And a couple of them, there's one of them that's hunting 20 mile an hour. It looks red.
Yeah.
It's an ex-bred.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like that dog, Hawk, throws a go yonder, hunt hard, sit down tree dog. Like he is gonna tree and stay.
Yeah.
And he'll split. He'll do it. He's a nice dog.
Mm-hmm. But
that high hunt speed was what and I hunted him for about 2 months.
Okay.
So I knew, I'm like, wow, that's some of the little money dogs. Yep. The walkers have that hunt speed too. And I haven't thrown that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I for some reason, seem to have, over the years, seen better crosses on English with my dogs.
Okay.
Than the walker. The walkers haven't been bad.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not been it hasn't come out the way I was expecting it to as much.
Now, have you bred back to the purebred status? Does the Redbone Association allow that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And I'm thinking this year, a cross I made, a guy actually brought his granite walker to my Redbone.
Yeah.
And we had pups. There's a female out of that cross.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice dog that'll probably be coming here to get bred.
Okay.
This fall, winter, sometime.
Yeah.
And which I will definitely try a pup out of that.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's a female that turns out
her
pups would be back to Redbone.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, and that one really, with that cross there, the Redbone male to the walker female actually turned out better than using a walker male on the Redbone.
Okay.
Maybe it was just coincidence.
Maybe it was those individuals, but
yeah, but that was actually a bone collector female.
Okay.
And on the bottom side was Tequila Sunrise, which is a real hot walker cross.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. We'll see if it all comes back.
Yeah. Breeding's, ultimately a crapshoot. You, no matter what.
Yeah.
What homework you do, whatever you think is going to happen.
Yeah. It doesn't come out. Like I had, going back to that cross, it was Kong and the walker female.
Yeah.
I had one that was, Kong's wide open.
Okay.
The female, her name was Tink, is wide open. We got a lot of stillmouth dogs out of that cross.
Really?
I have no idea how. Mine was real tight.
Yeah.
She could get in there and get treed.
Just not what you're looking for, though.
No, so I was like, well, and I don't want to do like it's inner, so I'm going to keep breeding it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I wanted to keep the longevity. I got to have a couple generations deep of that, I think, to continue on and breed true to that.
Yeah.
So, it's all kind of crapshoot to me too, but I have seen things that kind of help me.
Yeah.
Just by being objective and like, well, this is junk. I'm done with it. I'm not gonna keep it.
Yeah.
Just because and I think that's where a lot of guys have the problems. Well, it's got my name on it. Well, that's not gonna work. I don't care if it does or not. It doesn't work.
Yep.
You can't just get it in your head that, well, I can skip this generation. If the blood's there, so I'll breed this again, and you're putting that hole back in there.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to say is like I'm trying to eliminate the holes.
Yeah. I think you're doing your due diligence in actually making sure you hunt your females, which can sometimes be a hole in some breeding programs.
Yeah, if I can't win with it, why would I want to breed it and try to win? But maybe I could, but then what's the next generation gonna do?
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
That makes a lot of sense. Like I said, it seems to be working. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy pups very often.
Mm-hmm.
So I might.
And how long did you say you've had your line of dogs?
Well, if you count with my cousin, me and him are kind of like together on it, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably been 20 some years.
Okay.
Yeah, 20. I'm trying to even think how old Tig was when he was around. I think it was in the 90s.
Okay.
I'm like, so since then.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. You said you shot 99 coon out to him.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, that actually paid.
Yeah.
Unlike today.
Well, did you hunt coon there a couple years ago when the hides were?
Yeah, when I got started in Ohio, like we were making like $10 coon.
Well, just not too long ago, I was getting 50 something for the big ones.
Oh wow!
It was like, I always go through NAFA, which is Canada.
Yeah,
they'll come around here with their U-Hauls or whatever.
Yeah,
and that wasn't even that long ago. It was like the most I'd ever gotten for coon and fox.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, what was that, 5 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah, I took some really good pictures those years. It was like the old days. I had a whole wall of coon hides, And,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think my grandson was just barely talking, and he's 10 now. So I guess it's probably been 9 years.
Yeah.
Time flies, but 8, 9 years. Because I have him sitting on a big pile of fox and coon hides.
Yeah.
Picture of us.
You do a lot of trapping then too?
For fox and stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fox, some muskrat. And
you got a lot of reds around here?
We did, yeah. I mean, a good many.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know there's certain parts of the state that have more grays than reds, and I know down where I'm at, we have all reds. We don't have grays, so
yeah.
Wasn't sure what you're like here.
Driving through here, you see a lot of fields.
Yeah.
But then you got the mountains too, with brushy foots. So we're about, I'd say, it seems like since the coyote numbers went up, the reds went down.
Gotcha.
A little bit, but the grays, there's still guys that's really whacking the grays.
Mm-hmm. You ever tree a gray?
Yeah, I actually got a picture of one on my phone.
I would love to. See, if I lived here, I'd have trashy dogs because I'd run anything in trees. I like to run anything. I'm not a competition hunter, so I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bobcat, gray fox, coon.
Well, that
whatever.
Ari out there.
If it goes up a tree.
Yeah. Those. It's almost like the grays are about as easy to tree as a bobcat around here, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And the ones that we actually have treed are guys I know have treed.
Yeah.
It's kind of been by accident coon hunting.
Yeah.
At night, and they actually stayed. But there's been so many times dump them on a bobcat you saw.
Yeah.
That thing goes all night. Or I like doing it when it comes in the snow.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get too much. But it seems like where the most bobcat population is back in the mountains.
Yep.
And like my best spots I can't get to when I really need to.
Exactly.
Our season's so short.
Yep. I asked Andy about that a couple years ago, and because knowing he lived up here, and he's like, "No," he goes, "I break everything off a bobcat." He goes, "That's a good way to ruin a coon hunt."
Yeah, you're gonna be at it for a while if they like them.
He's like, every time you walk into a tree and that sucker jumps out.
Yeah. Yep, they do most of the time. Sometimes the young ones are the only ones. I mean, the only ones I've actually ever seen get treed were young.
Gotcha.
Like a small cat.
Yeah.
I've had them. One time they blew up in there, and I was like, "Oh, it sounds like they caught the thing." I thought they surely jumped off on a daytime coon or something. And until I got there, it was probably a 10-pound little female bobcat. So it wasn't, I couldn't do nothing with it anyway. But yeah, those bobcats go and go and go and go.
That they can.
I think they say the deep snow hems them up a little bit, but that's what sucks when it's deep snow. I can't get to where they're at.
Exactly.
But it is fun, though. It's like a big rabbit hunt.
Yeah.
This is pretty much how I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Kong. Well, he was a triple grand. But he was the best bobcat dog I ever had.
Okay.
And Ari's his daughter. She's a triple grand. The one out there, the female.
Yeah.
She's the same way.
There you go.
But she's like the trashiest one I've had in a while. But I'll let her do bobcats.
Yeah.
But even now, I still don't trust her 100%. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that is there. I'll tone her, and if I tone her and she keeps on going, it probably is, it's a coon, and she'll try it.
Yeah.
If I tone her and she's like, you see her shoot off the side.
She knew she wasn't
yeah,
right.
She'll be like, nah, yeah, just messing around. But, yeah. Yeah, there's been some... it's funny about the competition dogs, though. One of my ones that I won a lot with wasn't anywhere near the best coon dog I had.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, just something in a competition. That sucker would get with it. But he was like, some of the guys would hate him, but...
Was he competitive?
Real competitive. And if... He was one that get yours and his, and, you never knew. He was just wanting to do whatever and get whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I won more with that dog than probably any of them. And I swear he was not the best dog I ever had.
I had a female. She was a little cur dog, but by herself, we would treat coon. And don't get me wrong, like, we treat plenty of coon with her, but if I took her with my buddies and their hounds, it was like she just kicked it up a notch.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I wish you looked like this every night. She just put that little extra effort in there.
Yeah, some of them are like that.
And I just laughed.
I like that, too, though, in a dog. I like that extra kick,
Yep.
Yeah, I like the ones that kick it up a notch.
You got any more good stories for us about your Redbones?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's so many of them, but I remember I was just looking outside there and saw those leaves blowing. We were hunting one night. It was real windy out, and my buddy's son was along. He was like 12, I guess, and he had a hooded sweatshirt on. And he was like, I'm cold, And he lays down there, gets on his knees on the ground, and just balled up like balled up with the hood over his head, crouched on the ground. And my old Redbone come in, lifted his leg, and just dumped it all over him. That was one of the things there. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I've had other ones.
Bet that warmed him up right up.
Yeah, we were laughing. He's like, what are you laughing at? And then he's like, oh, man. But, yeah, stuff like that. I had some pretty... some of them like to climb trees a lot.
Oof.
Yeah.
Never good.
No. I just had a gas monkey dog out there.
Yeah.
When he was younger, it wasn't really climbing it. It was a leaner into another tree, but it was a big leaner. And he was just really getting started. He was probably about like getting to where I was really like, man, he's pretty nice.
Yeah.
He was about 8 months. And they were in their ways. All of a sudden, and they're coming treed, and then it was like, oh my word, they're blowing the top out of it.
Yeah.
And I thought, boy, that gas is really treed. I get in there, Ari was at the bottom of the tree, the leaner.
Yeah.
He was up with his feet on the tree it was leaning into, about 25 feet off the ground.
Jeez.
Blowing the top. That's why I could hear him so good.
Yeah.
And the coon wasn't that far above him. He's just blowing the top out of it. I was like, oh my word. And believe it or not, he come down the tree. I yelled at him.
Oh, wow.
I was like, come here. He looked at me, come on. He turned around and come down. I couldn't believe it. I thought, there's no way I'm getting up there.
Yeah.
But he did. He come on down.
Got lucky.
Yeah. Talk about a tree climber. I was in a competition hunt one time. And Cyanide's the other male out there, the older one.
Okay.
And it was at a blue tick hunt. I had 3 blue ticks in the cast and him. And we must have went to like 6 or 7 trees and didn't see a coon. It was crazy. And Cyanide was nowhere with any dog. Finally, he trees. And it was at the end of the hunt. I'm just gonna skip that part of it. But I had to go get him. He was treed, and all by himself. We get in there, and he was up a tree, like way up a tree. Same kind of deal, a leaner, but it was real small. I don't even know how I get up there, and he's hugging the tree, treeing. And the guy that was with me from that club's like, I'll go get my buddy's wife. She'll climb up there. I'm like, what? No way. Because I'm thinking, I was trying. I'm like, it's not big enough. No way. Believe it or not, I stood there at the tree, and the dog stayed up the tree. And he went and got his buddy and his wife. And his wife went right up that like a monkey.
Jeez.
I can't remember her name or his name, but I'm telling you, she went up that tree like a squirrel.
Crazy.
And it was so small, I was worried about, is he going to dive off?
Yeah.
I was more worried about her than the dog at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the dog gets up there, scoots it on down. She was there about 10 minutes and had that dog out of that tree.
Jeez.
I was like, oh, my word. It was unreal.
About 2 or 3 years ago, a buddy of mine had a female climb a tree, and he called the fire department.
I've heard of that. I've never had to do that, but I don't know how they would get in there. But
they ended up getting a big, like, 40-foot extension ladder.
Oh, did they?
Because she was over 30 foot, because they had a 30-foot and it wouldn't reach.
Oh, my word. Yeah, that sucks when that happens.
So they ended up getting a 40-foot extension ladder from somewhere and
getting
her out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time and inviting me to stop at your house today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming.
Talk about some Redbones. I know I've gotten some requests for more hound stuff. I'm a cur dog man at heart, so I talk a lot about cur dogs and feist. And
well, you seen I got one of them out there myself. Yep. Just getting started, but I like him.
Good deal.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.